Welcome to the Field of 68 After Dark's YouTube channel. We are going to be live every Tuesday and Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time right here on YouTube and on Stadium for the entirety of the spring.
I don't like when people have like perceptions of me. I like you can ask anybody in Champaign. Like I'm a respectful person. If I walk into your store, I'm gonna greet you. I'm gonna say hi. Like it's none of that on the court. This is where my the frustration comes out. There's moments where I get overly frustrated because, and I've talked with coach about this. Like I feel like sometimes my IQ it has outgrown college basketball. So there's moments where I might do something or my teammates might do something and I'm thinking the play is going to go one way, but it goes another. And it's just because it's in that moment and I get a little frustrated. And then on top of that, I don't think that people think about the impacts that referees have on games and calls.
Sure.
Sometimes I'm not saying refs are bad, but sometimes I feel like referees blow their whistle just to blow their whistle, and there's no thought that goes into it. Like sometimes I'm thinking okay, and I'm being a little selfish here.
Sure.
You have, let's say, me or Terrence are on the court. It might be a little ticky-tack foul, but it might not even be a foul. Right?
Yeah, let it go. Right.
Let it go. You got two pro prospects in the gym, right? And I'm sorry to speak on myself, but I am in the draft right now. Yep. I would never, I'm not calling myself a pro. I'm in the draft. I'll say that, a pro prospect. And the impact you have, now they're subbed out the game. Now they have to sit a whole entire half. Now their team's losing. Now, I'm frustrated. I'm on the bench like this, like huffing and puffing. Like now an NBA scout sitting there watching that, reacting to that. And now it's just long term. Or you come back, we lose the game by one possession, and there's 3 possessions where you just made calls because home court, people say home court advantage, this, that. Like the impact that the referees have on the game is much broader than people think about. You know what I'm saying?
Let me add in on that, because I agree with you. And I think a big part of the problem is, and you know this, they're working almost every night. And there are some really good ones, but they don't get off nights because they make, $3,500, $4,000, whatever it is, every night. They are going to work every night, and there's not one universal assigner. So basically, they can work in the Big Ten one night. They can work in the Pac-12 another night, come back, Big East. They're flying all over the place. They are not, especially when it gets to conference play, they're not nearly as fresh as they were at the beginning of the season.
For sure. And I'm going to be honest, I feel like this year was a year where I was targeted and ref different. I'm not saying it's anyone's fault. I'm just saying I would go into games and me and Terrence are captains, and I see the ref who's reffing our games this night, and I'll nudge Terrence and be like, oh shit, we got this guy. And it shouldn't be that way. You know what I'm saying? But no, I respect referees. Don't get me wrong. It's just sometimes I feel like we don't think about the impacts of calls, and we can't overturn. And if I'm being honest, college basketball needs reviews. It needs it. We might as well. We can review goaltends. We can review charges. We can review this and that. The games are long enough. You can't sit here and say, oh, we don't want to make the games extra long. Well, these games are very important. These are $1 million people playing, hundreds of $1,000 athletes, $1 million coaches. We can take a little extra time to review and get a call right and be able to, you know what I'm saying? So that's just where kind of my frustration comes in. And when you can't change anything about it, it kind of makes it even more frustrating. But then when you're not wearing a jersey and you're sitting in a room chilling, you can be your normal personality. So that's where that.
I mean, you are you're totally different. I'm glad you had a chance to explain yourself on that, because I don't, I think, and sometimes it's a combination for you. You like to talk trash. You do. No doubt about it. You have fun. I think it kind of gets you going. And then you let your frustration show. I remember when I talked to Jason Tatum early in his career in Boston, because I live here and I was at a ton of games, and he would just, and he's gotten better, but he's still not great. But early on, when nobody really knew who Jason Tatum was, the officials, he would throw his arms up and complain. And I said to him back then, I said, Jason, trust me, you're going to build your rep now. And the refs aren't going to like you now, and it's going to hurt you when you become an NBA superstar. They're going to remember this. Do you feel like it might have hurt you what you did earlier in your career, and they targeted you because of what you had done maybe when you were a little bit younger coming up, or no?
I definitely do think so. Yeah, I think they've been able to picture me throughout the years, and flailing my arms and yelling and stuff like that. And I definitely think it's all built up over the years. And like I said, I do feel like I was repped a little bit different this year. But for one, I've never been a dirty player. You've never seen me do a dirty play, a dirty act, or anything like that. If I'm being honest, I've never got the most technicals I've gotten was this year. I got one early my freshman year for telling someone, get that shit out of here. And then a dunk against on Trace last year. But other than that, I've never been a guy who's, no offense, but Draymond Green, or just flat out deliberately going out their way to get technical fouls. So, but I mean, I definitely think over the years has definitely fed into it and boiled up to what it was this year. And, with the reputation and everyone going on Twitter, and it all feeds into it. So
thanks for watching the Field of 68 After Dark. Make sure to hit that like button.